The Secrets of Technology is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit GiveStarQuest.com. Hi, I'm Don Bettinelli, and you're listening to The Secrets of Technology, where we discuss the technology news that's important to you from a uniquely Catholic point of view. Joining me today is Joanne Mercier. Hey, Joanne.
Hello, Dom.
So, Joanne, I recently went through a office cleaning phase where I decided you ever get to that point where your office is just gotten so messy that you just can't stand it anymore?
Every Easter season.
The cleanup.
Cleanup.
This was me earlier this summer, and I'm like, I just can't stand it anymore. And I decided to clean up everything and to refresh my desk, to get down to the basics and to really organize things. And so one of the things I started doing was watching desk setup videos on YouTube, and man, that is a rabbit hole. Let me tell you, there are so many people making these videos, and they're a whole genre, right? I saw something that said it's a look with a shopping list attached.
Oh, jeez.
And what you find in a lot of these is, hey, anybody can do this, and you make, and it's also precious, and I have to decide between these three colors of white for the walls and of the office, and it's so accessible. And by the way, these companies all gave me, multi-$1,000 desks and chairs and stuff like that. This isn't going to be that one of those.
This
episode. And they all look alike, by the way. A walnut slab desk, a slat wall. I don't know if you've seen these slat walls.
No, I haven't.
It's all popular now. A plant, a mechanical keyboard, an aluminum arm holding one perfectly centered ultra-wide monitor, and not a single piece of paper anywhere. As I saw one person describe it, a beautiful room that nobody works in. But the fact is you probably already have a desk. Most people already have a desk. You have a chair, you have light, you have a computer. But maybe you want to improve some things. Maybe you want to fix things up. Is your chair at the right height? Is your monitor in the right place? Is the light good for working? All those sorts of things. And how do I make sure that everything is plugged in and powered and connected and it doesn't look like a rat's nest under the desk or on top of it? Mine was both when I started this. So I kind of wanted to jump into this idea of how to upgrade your home office sensibly. So the things that matter, the things that don't, the things that upgrade that YouTubers think you need, and then into the specific areas. So like your chair, your desk, your power, light, the controls, the environment, and then storage, like office storage, not like electronic storage. And then your computer itself, the things having to connect to it, and how to manage it. So we're going to give you the hype pick that the YouTubers give, and then we'll have a sensible option for most people. The thing that does 85% of the job for a fraction of the price.
And then there's me, who likes to MacGyver things.
Right.
What have you got around the house that you can already put back into use if you're not using it?
Exactly. Right. You don't need to necessarily go out and buy new things. Now, I do want to say one thing up front. Like, the expensive things that the YouTubers often suggest are not scams. They're often very good. The question isn't, is it good? The question is it good for me? Do I need to spend that given what I actually do? And I'm going to virtually guarantee everyone in this listening to this is not a YouTuber. They're not editing video. They're not, making podcasts. You're doing regular stuff. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the YouTubers don't often acknowledge that. And look, I enjoy watching high-end, crazy setups as much as the next tech bro guy, crazy guy. But at some level, I got kind of tired of the excess, and I just wanted some suggestions for things I could afford. That would be nice. So, that's what we're going to do.
And you have to keep in mind, are you sharing this desk with another?
Right. Is this your space alone, or are you sharing the space, and that sort of thing. So, and some of the considerations are things like, do I work from home? Is this a desk I sit at 8-10 hours a day? Or is this my home office that I use after work or a few hours a day, and that sort of thing? And so those are considerations. If this is your work desk that you work at all day, then you're going to want to invest more in it. And frankly, your employer, if you have an employer as opposed to self-employed, should be, funding some of that. So, but the first step is to ask, what do you already have to work with? What's on hand? And so you look at your environment, where do my arms and eyes actually go? So sit down at the desk and, for 10 minutes and work at the desk, but be cognizant of what you're doing. Notice, are you having to look down? Are my shoulders bunched up around my ears? Do my wrists start to hurt after a while? Are you shorter on the shorter end, and do your feet dangle over the edge of your chair, not touching the floor? Those are certain things to consider.
Or if you have leg issues like I do you have a little stool underneath that you can bring your legs up? The best thing for that, though, is to get up and walk around. If you're sitting at a home desk for a long time, you really have to set a goal of, I'm not going to sit here for 3 hours and get cramped. Yes, I need to get up and walk every hour.
Especially if you are not a young person in their 20s anymore. Just put it that way.
I left that a long time ago, John.
Exactly. And then light is an important factor. Where's the light come from for your work? And is there a window? Where's the window? So we're going to talk some about that. Noise problems, not just noise for recording, which is something I have to be concerned with, but just noise that bugs you while you're working or while you're on a call or that sort of thing. There are different solutions. Power is always an issue. Getting enough power and getting it safely. It's a safety thing. And then, what's on your desk? Do you have piles on your desk? Where does the paper go? When stuff comes into your office, where does it go? Where do you store things? This was one of my big problems is I didn't have drawers to store things in. And so I had piles on my desk. I had baskets that were on shelves and stuff, and it was just all everywhere. And that was one of the first things I needed to take care of. But let's say your budget is somewhere around $500. It doesn't have to be. I mean, a lot of the stuff you could do for nothing, depending on what you got around you. But let's say you got $500. What's the priority of your spending? I'd say chair is the big one, right? What would you think of the most important thing to start with?
Oh, for me, it's a desk.
Okay.
As much as a chair is important, to me, it's what am I going to be working on? Right.
Because then you can match the chair to that.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. That's a good point.
We started off with, when we moved here 28 years ago, with a much smaller desk. And then it grew because two of us needed to use it.
Right.
On a revolving basis. So we had to make accommodations for that. And that's important. My husband has a tax preparing practice on the side. So this is his, for 3 months out of a year, this is when I have to leave.
Right.
Because he needs this. The rest of the year, we share it.
Okay.
So the desk was important.
And I think when you're looking at desks, a big thing that people don't always take into account is they think about how wide it is, but you also got to look at depth. Like a desk needs to be deep enough to not just to fit stuff, but to put your monitor on, because ergonomically your monitor should be at arm's length. You should not be right up on the monitor, not just for your eyes, but also for your neck, because monitors are bigger these days. We're all, and sometimes we have two monitors. And if you're constantly turning your head back and forth to catch, the corners of the monitor and the windows on the different sides, you're going to end up with neck strain. So you want depth in your desk, and you don't want everything on top of you. When you have more square inches, it feels less cluttered. And I think clutter, just to step back a second, I think for me, I don't know if this is the same for everyone, but for me, clutter in space means clutter in the mind. I find it hard to think in a space that's very cluttered. I'm not a minimalist. I'm not like I want to look like I'm, a Scandinavian with environment where I wear black turtlenecs and they call me Sven.
Right. And you just walked out of IKEA.
Right.
$2,000 worth of stuff.
I am Gunther. I have nothing in my room. I'm not like that, but I think, when you have more space, you can spread things out a little bit and not feel cramped. So after the desk is the chair, and the chair is important. I know people who sit on, a kitchen chair or a folding chair.
Ooh,
that's a terrible idea. Get something that we'll get into all of these, but you want to put some investment into a chair.
Yeah, be careful. During the pandemic, when we were both home, I was relegated to the dining room table. And had to sit, because it was tax season, and had to sit on the comfy dining room chairs, which after about 45 minutes gave me such bad leg cramps.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it really needs to be a dedicated chair.
Right. I have, our family TV has been in this office, and when the kids wanted to watch a movie, I would have to go and sit at the dining room table to work on my laptop.
Oh.
And after, a while, my leg would fall asleep. I'd get pains. There was no way to move to feel comfortable again. So finally I invested in a TV to put in the living room. I finally convinced my wife, I'm putting a TV in the living room. If they want to watch TV, it's out there. Let's be done with it. Screen height is a big one. And I always find this one a little tricky because the ergonomics is the top of the screen should be at or just below eye level. And I'm like, I'm not that tall. I can't, I'd have to put the screen tilted backwards down for having the screen but having it lower and not high. So the idea is not so you're not looking up and getting a crick in your neck.
But then there's, if it's too low, this is what, you're doing the head down too much.
Like staring at a laptop screen.
Correct. So that becomes a problem. That screen height is the biggest issue my husband and I have.
Yeah.
Because we're both the same height, yet he likes his lower. I like it higher.
Right.
So during tax season, I'm dead anyway, but the rest of the year, it's like up and down, because that's what happens.
Yeah. So having an arm that it's on, an adjustable arm is good. But if you're just, on one desk and you need your monitor to be higher, you don't even need to buy a special shelf. You just get some books and put it on. If you had to, right? You make sure you have light that's on your face, not behind you for when you're on Zoom calls or anything like that. You want some task lighting that shines on your desk. A microphone is great for not just, again, not for podcasting, for calls. We're all doing these calls now. And your audio is more important than your video on a call. Just straight up. It matters more. Your video can be mediocre, but your audio needs to work. And so make sure you get pretty good audio quality. And a lot of times, a lot of the better webcams have good both video and audio. So you work out there. You want to make sure that the power to your things is not going to burn your house down. Make sure you have real surge protectors.
Yes, and please don't put one power strip into another power strip.
Right.
Very bad.
Avoid doing that. I mean, had to, pay an electrician to come in and put another outlet in. That might be, it's not cheap, but it's safe.
My husband is an aesthetics person. Mm-hmm. So where we run our lines and how we run our lines matters to him. So yes, but I've still insisted that each strip should be on a separate dedicated switch that's on the wall.
Right. Because separate outlet for each strip. Yeah.
You plug one into another and it becomes a huge problem.
Yes. Yes. Electricians will tell you that is not good. So here are the things that YouTubers think you need that you don't necessarily need. So I mentioned the slat walls. If you go on YouTube and look for, desk setup videos, you will see these everywhere. And they're these little, it looks like little wooden slats with foam in between them, and the acoustic slat walls. They don't do what they think they do. They're sold as like sort of acoustic felt backing. They don't actually prevent, help with the sound. I mean, no more than anything else. But it's not real soundproofing.
Is it for soundproofing, or is it for putting things up on it?
Oh no, it's for soundproofing.
Oh, that's just like 8 cartons.
Yeah. Well, and
back
8
in the
cartons
day
would be better.
Yeah, back in the day.
The slat wall looks better. It's aesthetically more pleasing, but it doesn't do what a lot of these people think it does. It's more aesthetics. That and the pegboards, which, the IKEA Skedus is the one you will see in all the videos, and it's not expensive. It's $25 for a 30 by 22 board. But the problem is all the stuff you got to put on it, like all the accessories, the containers, the shelves and the hooks are all sold separately, and they are specific to the IKEA board. You could go out and get a cheap old fashioned tool pegboard with, but if you need that, but you don't need, you don't
need that.
It's one kind of storage, but if you want to have all your stuff hanging where you can see it, one thing I did was I got a coat hook, like a coat hook board with just hooks on it, and I hang things off of that. It's just and that was $10, I keep all my cords in mesh bags, and I just hang it from that, the labeled bags.
And see, again, the aesthetics person wanted to outfit this room that we have a little bit more like a real office.
Right.
So we actually have an armoire that has bookshelves in it. Mm-hmm. And it also has a 2-drawer lateral drawer system.
Right.
So that way it keeps everything he doesn't want to see out of sight.
Yeah. Not a bad plan.
But that is expensive.
Yeah. If you have a closet, that you could repurpose the closet for that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's part of what we have here. We're using a second bedroom, and it's a very large bedroom.
Yeah.
And the closet, but that's my domain. Right. That's all music.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yep. One other thing I've seen online are like the big Husky tool chests for storing all your gear. Yeah. But again, that's kind of expensive. There are cheaper solutions, and it's a particular look, frankly, and
very industrial.
It's very industrial look. I don't mind it, but it's not for everybody. Again, IKEA is not a bad source for less expensive furniture for that sort of thing. So, you don't need to buy a $3,000 desk or a $1,500 chair, which is what you often see. The Herman Miller Aeron, the Herman Miller chairs are amazing chairs. They also, again, cost $1,500 to $2,000. You can potentially find those used. Like if you go online and look up, like used office furniture or Facebook Marketplace, you can get them for less. But if you don't want to have like a used chair, office chair, it's such a personal thing. Some people kind of, So a brand that I've found good for over the years is Flexi Spot. These are sort of in between what you get at Staples or Office Depot and the high-end stuff. And the Flexi Spot chairs can range from, they have ones that are, up to $650, $700. But they have some pretty good ergonomic chairs in the $200 to $300 range. The current one I have now is the C7 Max, which is about $450 right now, which is $430 right now, which is on sale down from from $550, I think it is. And it's a comfortable chair, let me tell you, and it's really adjustable. I'm very pleased with it. Again, I sit in this chair 8 to 10 hours a day, so it's worth investing in that for me. So
I'm sitting. We went to Closeout office supply store 28 years ago. I am still sitting in the same chair that we bought because we spent. See, the thing is, sometimes you do have to spend a little money to get the quality.
That's your balance, right?
That's the balance. And we've always been that way. So we will sacrifice and say, okay, we'll spend this money, but the longevity that we've gotten out of our products has been worth it for us. So this chair that I'm sitting in right now is the original chair that we had with the first desk here. So it's a 28-year-old chair.
Right.
And it still works fine. It's still comfortable. The upholstery could be, freshened up, but we wash it every once in a while. That's it.
Yeah.
But
if you spend $2,000 on a Herman Miller, that chair will be around for 25 years, 30 years. Right. So, whereas the chair I bought probably will last 5 to 8 years, 5, maybe 10. So, it's really a balancing act to pay up front or pay later. And that's really the balancing act. I like the mesh chair back thing where it's open, get that ventilation. But some people they really like the feel of leather or padding, and so really it's up to you, whatever feels good on you. But lumbar support, a headrest, that sort of thing, those are I think really good to have.
Yeah, I was just looking at one that an ergo chair, and I'm like, oh great, it's got like an ottoman that comes out of it and a head thing, and I'm like, I'd fall asleep in that.
I don't know whenever I would need to have to be able to recline in it. I mean, sometimes I watch TV while I watch a show for work, so I'm typing notes. Well, but I'm not going to recline because, again, if I go to the movie theater and I put my feet up, I'm out halfway through the movie.
It's done, yeah.
So then your desk, right? Standing desks, the up and down powered standing desks, it's all the rage. I don't know. I mean, again, like you said, Joanne, just make sure you get up and move around and go get a drink or a cup of coffee or something every once in a while. I don't feel like I've even heard from some of these YouTubers talking about how they don't really stand at it. What the real benefit for them is putting the desk up high so you can do the cable management underneath. Like you can get at stuff underneath. So when you need to unplug something or plug something in, you could get under it more easily. I get that, but
that's not a reason to spend. That's not the reason to spend all that money.
It's a lot of money for these desks. Right. The difference between a powered standing desk versus a non-powered up and down desk is substantial.
Yeah. If you're going to use it, fine.
Yeah.
If that's your thing. I've thought about it for when I were at workplaces, thinking, if you want to buy me one of these, fine. But I don't see the value of it because of my own situation with my legs. But standing too long for me either is a problem.
Right. Exactly. So, especially if the floor is a hard floor. And I had not a standing desk, but an elevating platform went on the desk for a while at a previous job, and it raised up the whole the computer and the monitor and the keyboard all at once, and lowered down if I wanted to sit, and raised it up if I wanted to stand. It was not powered or anything, and I found I just didn't lift it up that much. I just didn't. It seemed weird to be standing there, I'd be kind of leaning, like I'm leaning on a counter. It was it's just weird. Not the way I like to work, honestly. Right. And I think it's better to move around as opposed to standing in one place. That's the other thing, because I find myself standing in a way that's not good for my back anyway.
Right.
So,
and as somebody who's had to work at different places, different churches, different parishes, and be told, this is what you have to work with. And sometimes it's a folding cart and a you have no idea the kind of desks I've had to MacGyver, which is why I say, I'm queen of MacGyvering here with all this stuff.
Yep.
And they expect you to work on this. It's okay. That's why home got to be the place where this is the way I want to do things.
Right. And, as far as the desk shape goes, a nice rectangle is fine, but I've always thought bigger, I've always wanted more desk space. This is like me. I like more monitors and more desk space.
Yep.
And I would take more if I had more room. But the one I've got now is an IKEA desk. I forget which particular one it is. I could look it up after and put it in the show notes. But it's fairly substantial, but it's fairly bare bones. It's 2 legs, big open space. But maybe you want to look at something like a U-shaped desk or an L-shaped desk to give you a little more space, depending on your situation. If I had an L-shaped desk, I could make that work here because I've actually got like shelves and things to my side that I could put stuff on that would be at hand. So, I'm kind of making do without it. I could use one, at some point. So think about the surface space you get.
We started with the L. So the first one was an L shape that we put together from Staples. Mm-hmm. We were very proud of that desk because we actually put it together ourselves. But the room was large enough when we knew we needed to upgrade. So I now have a U shape. And it's been the best thing. And the U shape, I would guess, is a little bit bigger than a queen size bed.
Wow.
Okay. That's big.
Yeah.
But this room can support it.
Right.
Because it was almost like the second master. So this room can support that size. But if you've got that, then I have everything at my fingertips, which my husband hates because he doesn't want me to load it up with everything.
Right.
But I just told him, I said, I have another scanning project. So out comes the flatbed scanner to go on the L part. And then behind me, I always have a printer scanner that he needs. And it's also where my little Synology lives with my little home run unit for the antenna.
Right.
So all these things need a place to live on the desk.
Right. That's one thing I like. I want to get into 3D printing, but I have no place to put a 3D printer.
Right.
That sort of thing. It would be nice to have a little more surface area in here in my office.
But have I told you that my husband likes aesthetics?
Exactly.
All of this needs to be organized and clean all the time. So everything I do is temporary. There are very few permanent things on here.
The trick of sharing a space. That's for sure. I don't have to share my space, which is nice.
You are lucky.
Yeah. So let's talk about powering everything. And you can get power strips; those are pretty good. Make sure that's a power strip that has surge protection, and there are plenty of good ones out there. And there's not a whole lot to say about that. I'd go with name brands. I don't want to necessarily go with anything having to do with power. I get really itchy with the random series of letters brands on Amazon
that look like alphabet soup kind of merged into a word.
Right. And I with power, which is a safety thing, I want to go with name brands. But I wanted to highlight a couple that I really like, both from Anker. Surprise, surprise. And the one I don't have that I really is very interesting to me is the Anker Nano Power Strip. And what's really nice about this is it clamps to the desk, and there's a big block that goes under the desk and a small thin thing that goes on the top of the desk. And the small thin thing on the top of the desk has several USB-C ports and 2 USB-A ports and 2 plug power outlets, 2 plugs. And underneath there are 4 more plug outlets to plug other things in. And honestly, it looks really great. It does 70 watts of power, which is plenty to charge a laptop or your phone or that sort of thing. And it really is, and it's $70 on their site, and probably you can get it on sale at different times and that sort of thing. But I really like the look of this. It keeps most of the clutter under your desk as opposed to on top of it, and not on the floor. That's the other thing is like all these outlets when they're on the floor.
Yeah, that's on my wish list for my next office job if there is one.
Right.
Okay. But we do have them, again, the aesthetic.
Yeah.
We do have ours underneath our desk, our 2 strips, and I believe they're both Anker. Yes, they are.
Yep.
And what we did was this. One strip is for devices that need to stay on all the time.
Right.
And the other one is for devices that don't, to save energy.
Mm.
So one we have to turn on and off all the time. The other one stays on. That might be a good way because all of these electronics draw a lot of electricity, even when they're sitting still.
Right. The other thing to think about too is, well, specifically with the Anker Nano Power Strip, which I was describing, you need to have a desk that's thin enough for it to clamp
yes.
on. It can't be like an old-fashioned desk. So there's that. The other thing to think about is also a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply to plug in your laptop or desktop computer, and the things that, again, need to stay on all the time, like a NAS or other things that would be bad for if the power went out, it would take it out.
And that's tough for my husband. He has PTSD from those things from his office days.
Oh, right.
You know, because every office environment he went to, he had to have them. And when the power went out, they buzzed, or when the battery was going low, they buzzed and beeped. And I said, I'd like to get one. He went, no, please, no. So, okay, fine, we'll live.
They are improving them. They're actually starting to get whole house ones that can live in other areas. And there's some interesting developments of that coming. So,
I will look.
So the other Anker power related thing I want to mention, and this I do have, is the Anker Nano charging station. And this is a really sleek, nice looking device. It has built-in retractable USB-C cables, 2 of them. It'll do up to 100 watts of power. It also has USB A and C ports and 2 power outlets on the back. And it has a screen on it so that when you are plugging things in, it will tell you, how much power it's giving, it's putting out and that sort of thing, which is, I don't know how necessary it is, but it's kind of nice. And it looks nice. This is a really nice little device. And again, this is only 2 of the many different desktop things that Anker has, and they go way up from here. But this one was $80, but it's a nice device, and it keeps clean. And when you unplug your laptop or unplug your iPad, the cable retracts in, and it's not laying all over the place and getting tangled. That always bugs me, is the tangles. I get annoyed by the tangles.
I think I would like the aesthetics of this.
Yes. So the next thing to consider is thinking about light in your desk, in your area, in your office. Now, a lot of people have overhead lights. I have actually sconces on the wall. I'm in a repurposed bedroom too, and so the sconces would have been on either side of the master bed, in the bedroom. But they work pretty well, and I've got a lamp, and of course I've got recording lights for the podcasts and stuff. But one thing I've added, one thing to keep in mind is it's best if you don't have a window behind your monitor. Because during the day that can really mess with your eyes and cause eye fatigue. So it's best if either the light is behind you, or even better to the side. That's what the ergonomics says. But one thing to think about is a behind the monitor light. So a light that goes on the back of the monitor that shines on the wall. And what I've learned about that is because it reduces the amount of contrast between the brightness of your monitor and the dark of the wall. No matter what color the wall is, it's always going to be darker. It reduces eye strain over the day, so you don't get your eyes don't get as tired. So I ended up getting the Govee light bars, which are actually intended for TVs. But what I did was I got them. They can either sit on the desk on stands, or they have a sticky and they can attach to the back. And they're smart lights, so they go into Home Assistant or Google Home or HomeKit, and you can control them that way as well. So I've got them automated, and they can do multiple colors, but I just do regular colors, and you can adjust the intensity for different times of the day. And at $54, it was not a bad price. You can actually. It's been less expensive, so you might want to keep an eye on that over time to see, what the prices are like. So that's something I recommend. There are all different kinds of things you can do. I've seen people put like LED strips and whatever on the back of their monitor, and so there's that. But there's another thing you can look at too. In addition, is a monitor light bar, and I thought at first I thought this was very kind of precious, or sort of one of those YouTuber excesses. And what this is it's a light that sits on top of your monitor and shines down. And the way that they're made is they're made not to shine on the screen. You don't want it shining on the monitor and creating, glare and that sort of stuff. It shines in front of it and is task lighting for your desk. And the best ones, you can adjust the intensity, you can adjust the color temperature, and you can change it through the day. Now, the one that everyone on YouTube gets is the $200 BenQ monitor lamp. And they are undeniably really nice. I went and got the Quintus. I'm going to say Quintus.
Yeah, I would say Quintus.
Yeah. For $40. It has a wireless remote that is automatically paired. You can adjust the temperature up and down. Now the BenQ it does like presence sensing. So when you walk away, it turns off. You come back, it turns off, on automatically, all that sort of stuff. I can hit the button and turn it on and off on mine to save $160.
Yeah, really.
And honestly, it really is better. I find I like the fact that I get nice lighting in front of the desk, in front of the monitor on my desk. I don't have a task lamp on my desk. All the lights are either behind the monitor or behind me. So this is a nice lighting on my desk. The one downside is, and this is particular to me, I have my iPad in front of my monitor, sort of on a stand at an angle. And boy, does it show all of the fingerprints on my iPad because it shines right on it.
I bet.
It kind of bugs me a little bit, but that's me.
This sounds good for my husband because and probably for me, because as our eyes get, older, he's always finding that, and he does a lot of his work in the winter, late in the day to evening. So this might be something that will help him see our window, the way our desk is, and Dom can see where my light's coming from. It's coming from the side.
Yep.
And that has a room darkening shade on it because it tends to be a little too much.
Right.
So that when I do video, I do have a ring light in order to get the light on me, but not on the desk so much. So this looks like the answer just went into my Amazon cart for save it for later.
Okay, good. And one of the things I suggest is I've started doing is I have in my Apple HomeKit, I have an evening setting which dims the lights in the office and reduces it at night and changes the color temperature of the light bar to warmer lighting, which is better as you approach evening and bedtime. And frankly, I like it a little darker at night in the office. It's more relaxed. It's less glaring. The too bright is I don't know. I feel like I feel like it's better for me. I like it better anyway. Now, if you are someone who does a lot of video calls, you may want to look into video lighting. Like Joanne mentioned, there are ring lights, and they're inexpensive ones on Amazon. You don't have to spend a lot. But if you wanted to get something a little nicer that you can control remotely, whether it's HomeKit or an app or whatever, the Elgato sells a bunch of different ones. Now, the one that the YouTubers recommend is the Elgato Key Light. That's $180. I'm not making YouTube videos. I don't know if you need to spend $180, but at the middle range, they sell something called the Key Light Neo at about $99. They have a Key Light Air at about $129. So those aren't bad. But, you can get any dimmable, color temperature adjustable LED panel or ring light. What you want to look for are color accuracy, flicker-free operation, so it doesn't look like it's flickering on the video. You won't see the flicker, but the video will. You got to be careful of that. And adjustable color temperature. If it's too hot, it might wash out your face. If it's too cold, make you look dead. So you want to get something that works for you.
So the Key Light Neo is one that will clip on. So it's portable then.
Yes, it'll clip onto a laptop. It'll clip onto your monitor.
It's on sale right now at Best Buy.
Right. Elgato's having an anniversary sale, so they have a lot of their stuff is on sale. So it might even be cheaper than the
$50 right now.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good for it's a real. They make really good lighting. In fact, I've got one on me right now. In front of me, the bigger one that I use for video recording. Elgato's lights are good. Again, free. is if you're during the day, the sun is the cheapest of all lighting for you. So
that it is.
And daylight, as they say, is the best key light ever made. And it's included with your house. If you are working in a room with a window and it's sunny out. So that's lighting. Let's talk about controls. And when I say controls, mostly I mean mouse and keyboard. Now, every YouTuber thinks that you need a loud mechanical keyboard to go clackety, clackety, clack. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal, frankly. Maybe because I grew up with, the old IBM keyboards that made all that noise. And having to work in a shared office where people have these really loud, they pound the keys with the clicky keyboards. I prefer, and frankly, for me, I need something quiet because I'm podcasting. But I don't know that I don't understand the appeal of the mechanical the keyboard and all of the different kinds of switches and all of that sort of stuff, right? So yeah, a basic keyboard. I use the Apple Magic Keyboard. It's it's that chiclet style or whatever you want to call it. It for me, the main reason I use it is because it's got the Touch ID on it, and I really like having Touch ID.
I miss that on a keyboard when I go to my Mac Mini.
Yeah,
I miss that because I have to keep typing my password in all the time.
Right. Now, I've seen some people, they keep this small Apple Magic Keyboard under their desk, kind of secured to the desk, and they only use it to reach under the desk and touch the Touch ID. So if you already have one, that's not a bad idea, and you're on a Mac. So, you can get Keychron has, they're the big mechanical keyboard maker, and they sell mechanical keyboards that are quiet. So, and you can get them for under $100. But their big ones are, can go up to $250, a lot. But like the Logitech MX Keys S is $130. It's a low profile. It's quiet. You can connect it up to 3 different devices. And it's the single most common recommendation for people who type for a living and who don't want loud keyboards.
Here's the thing. I have an MX Mechanical, a Logi, and I love it. If I have to sit here, because I'm an old-fashioned typist and I like the feel of the keys going down, I make less mistakes on a mechanical keyboard when I'm trying to type fast. Now, that's not good for podcasting. Right. So I have a different Logitech. It's the solar one.
I have one of those. Yeah.
Right. We have a couple because, we've had offices in different places. Yep, that's it. Yeah. And I'll use that if I'm doing not this one because you're doing all the heavy lifting, but if I'm doing my own podcast, I'll switch out keyboards so that I can use that one. Neither of them have Touch ID. Both of them are still a pain. Yeah. I just don't have I can't see spending more money on a Touch ID one when I have all these other keyboards hanging around. Right. It's just right now with the way the world is, I don't have that kind of disposable cash to spend another $100 and some odd, which I think is up to $179 now.
Probably for the full size keyboard.
Yeah. And we'd need a full size. So no.
And if you're on a Mac, sometimes you get the watch can do it, and, where it can,
which is good.
Password, but I want them to come up with a Touch ID button. Just a separate button.
You and a whole lot of other people would just like that button.
I'd buy it for $40, $50. Maybe.
Yeah, it would be worth it to me for that as well.
Yeah, and then you could use whatever keyboard you want.
But they don't want that.
No, they want you to buy the very expensive.
You got it.
The keyboard, the solar powered keyboard that we mentioned is the K760. That's the one I have. I don't know if there's a new one. I've had this forever. And it works great because you don't have to, it'll charge off of the lights in your room, in your office.
Yes.
It does not require, and I use that mainly to connect with, not with my main computer, but I have like a server computer that I want to connect to once in a while. So I'll turn that on and use that if I can't access it via remote. Sometimes I need to do it direct.
And because we have dueling offices here on this desk.
Yep.
Each of us has a strip, USB
A USB
hub. We each
yeah.
have a different USB hub.
Oh, interesting.
So we have, well, yes, because we're working with Windows and Mac.
Yeah.
If we were working on one, we used to have it all when it was just Mac.
Right. So you get two different computers and all
We
that.
have two different computers, and it was getting very confusing.
I get you.
Even with because we have dual monitors.
Yeah.
So so the only problem is we have to take that little tiny USB and keep moving it from hub to hub.
Right.
To use that. So that's the only problem. But see, this is all part of sharing an office with someone.
Right. Now, you can get very cheap, very inexpensive wired mice if that's what you want. If you just $5 or $10 off of Amazon or at Staples or Best Buy or whatever. But if you're looking for a decent programmable mouse, I recently switched from my beloved trackpad. Because it's dying. I've had it for so long that it was starting not to register taps and stuff like that. It was getting annoying. I got the Logitech MX Master 4, and wow, like I recently started programming the different buttons and things, and it's really kind of a revelation how good this is. It is a nice mouse. It's not cheap. It's $120.
I'm looking for it right now because I want to see what this looks like.
Yeah, Logitech has been making these programmable mice for ages, and they're great. But if you like a trackball, the Ergo series has a little trackball on it, which is kind of a nice. I've had trackballs in the distant past. The Kensington trackball was a great mouse back in the day.
And I see their Fold one is a knockoff of Microsoft's.
Yeah, it's this really minimalist, a mouse. And so they've got something for everyone. The signature comfort Bluetooth mouse is $40, $50, depending on the features you get in it. They're all really nice. And so a decent mouse is, it's nice. The MX Master 4 has like this haptic feedback thing. I'm not sold on the value of that yet. Like, you get this little buzzing under your thumb. Not sure of that. But it has this contextual menu thing that can pop up, and you can program it to have different controls in different apps, and it comes preset for certain apps. So yeah, I like it. It's a nice mouse, but you don't have to spend $130.
Right.
You can spend $30 and get one.
And the thing is, pro tip here, folks, always have a wired keyboard and mouse somewhere. Keep it. You think you're never going to need it.
No, you'll need it.
You're going to need it because the day that you're doing something and this doesn't, all of a sudden,
you're troubleshooting your computer, and you don't know whether the Bluetooth, or you need to do something at a point in the boot up cycle.
Yep.
Before the keyboard or mouse that are Bluetooth are attached. Yeah, I definitely have. I keep those on hand.
Mine is in the closet whenever I need it, or and then again, remember these are all either Bluetooth, which means they're rechargeable, which means sometimes they don't tell you when they're draining,
right? And
you have nothing,
right. So, and in that case, get the cheapest ones. Yeah. Spend $15 for both, like the mouse and keyboard, and put it in the closet because you're not going to be using it as a daily driver.
Right.
You get something cheap, and that's your backup. You might want a Stream Deck. I've been a big fan of the Stream Deck. It's a little more geeky of a product, but when you can program it and have it, being able to, it's not just for streamers. I don't ever use it for streaming, frankly. I use it to, hop quickly to certain folders or to enter a macro into different programs. If I, all kinds of stuff like that. I even have it set up so that it will tell me if my on-air light is on outside my office door. Because sometimes when I turn things on, it, how home automation is. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it works. But now I had Claude create a program so that one of my buttons on my Stream Deck lights up with the color that the Stream Deck currently is or is off. Really nice.
Dom, for what it's worth, this might be a nice project for patrons, a patron extra, where you teach how to use one of these things, because I would love to learn how to
Okay.
use one, but I have not figured out all the things it can do.
Yeah.
And I don't have a big demand for it right now, but I think it might be like getting a tiny, like a what, a 9 switch one?
They have small ones now. Yeah. I've
or
got
6.
2 of them.
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah, you can get one that like the mini, like what is it? The Stream Deck Neo has, it's $100 and it's got 8 buttons.
right.
I think they got one that's even smaller, frankly. Yeah.
I think I'd like to, if a little small session on how to program them, how to use them, what's the best thing for them, I think might be appealing to some of us.
If folks are interested in that sort of thing, yeah, there is a 6-button one I'm looking. If folks would be interested in that, let me know. Well, I'll figure something out. We'll put it out. I may even ask on Patreon, and I'll do a video, a little video training. We'll see how that goes. So let's talk about your environment, the ergonomics, acoustics, in that sort of thing. So for ergonomics, I got a felt desk mat. I thought at first I'm thinking, oh, that's kind of precious. But no, actually, it's really nice. It's sort of a trackpad or a mouse pad, but it's big. Like mine is 36 by 12. It's 3 feet by 12 inches. And my hands, my mouse are on it all day long, and it feels nice. And there's some of them are out there, and like leather ones or these really fancy ones. This one, the link on Amazon, it was $15. It's hardly anything. And for $15, I'm not worried about spilling something on it. In fact, I did actually spill something on it, and I washed it off, and now it looks brand new. Like it's fine. The 36 by 12 is a small one. You can get them up to like 55 by 23 or something like that. And that one was how much did they charge? $32. So like hardly anything. So really nice. I also recommend on the side coasters for your desk. Like I decided to get coasters. I have little leather. I picked up this nice. Joanne has one that looks like a Persian rug.
Yes, I do.
I picked up this little set of really nice little leather coasters. They look very, very masculine. Very nice for my desk.
Yeah, so, I've had this Persian rug set for years. It was a mouse and a
mouse pad and coaster.
Yeah, mouse pad and coaster. I've had these for years in my regular office, but they're home now because I am. So yeah, just for those of you who don't know. Mm-hmm. I have not working at the moment. Right. By choice.
By choice, right.
So, but I am looking because I am young and want to keep going. So
there you go. You got many years of productivity left.
Keep trying to tell myself that.
So a desk mat. There are ones you can get that have like I used to have one that was like had a Star Wars scene on it. It was kind of printed. That one got dirty really quick. So and it was more expensive, and I'm like, I don't want to spend a lot of money on this. This is the sort of thing that's going to get dirty. But $15, that was in the right area for me. Now, something else that's a little more specialized is it's called the Delta Hub Carpio 2.0. I kept seeing YouTubers with these, and this might actually be something worthwhile from the YouTuber videos. It's a ergonomic wrist rest, but it's not like a big, thick rectangle that goes under your keyboard or under your mouse. It's shaped to go under the palm of your hand, under the meaty part of the palm of your hand, and it slides on the desk under you. So you don't lift your hand up, you just move it back and forth across the desk, and your hand sits on it. And so it keeps your hands in the correct ergonomic position. Now, I should say your arm rest for your chair should be at the height of your desktop so that your arms are going straight out from the, resting on the armrest and straight out onto your desktop. That's the proper ergonomic position. So your chair needs to be high enough for that. And, but these, they say it takes about a week to get used to it, and it's been about a week, and I am getting kind of used to it. I've sometimes one of the reasons I stopped using a mouse and went to a trackpad was because I get these hand cramps, but I'm not experiencing that with my mouse, and I think part of that is because of these wrist rests. So it's $40 for one. You can get them in a pack of 2, which I did because I wanted to have the one for my left hand for when I'm typing. And it looks like a lot of money for a very small thing, but you're carpal tunnel is a real thing, and anything you can do to, save your wrists. My sister had to get carpal tunnel surgery on both wrists twice. I think she did. And it's just, you don't want to, frankly, that's a lot more expensive than $40. So, I suggest thinking about it, something like this. Make sure that the ergonomics of your back and your wrists, as you get older, folks, this is going to be an issue. And you young folks, you do it, take care of it now. So you're not like my age and going, man, I wish I'd thought of this when I was then. And another ergonomic thing I want to mention is the footrest. So I picked up one called the Ergo Foam footrest, and it is velvet. It's high density foam. And let me tell you, it feels glorious under my feet. It's so nice. I just sometimes rub my feet on it. It's really nice. And it lifts my feet up so that the back of my knees are not touching the edge of my chair, so that it doesn't cut off the blood flow, cause the nerve pinching. And I was finding before I got it, I was starting to get these incipient leg cramps on the inside of my leg, just sitting at the desk. And so this way, my feet are up in the right position. It kind of forces me to sit up straight, which is better, against the lumbar. I would find myself in the past, I would kind of be hooking my legs around behind my chair and that sort of stuff, or in these weird positions. But I can put my feet on it, or I can just stretch out my legs and put my, straight out like a footrest, like a leg rest. So it's $40 for this one. There are cheaper ones, but this was a nice one, and it's adjustable. It comes in two pieces, and if you're taller, or you just don't like it as high as it comes, you can take off the bottom part and just sit it straight on the floor. You can even flip it over so it's a flat as opposed to curved. So it's got several options. So
you're killing me, Dom, because I'm putting all of these things in my Amazon cart.
You have make this expensive for all of you.
Oh, yes, you are. But this is something I need.
Yes, you'll thank me for it, because it is really nice. I can't wait for in the winter when to have my feet up on something nice and warm and comfy. Oh, it is nice. All right. So as far as acoustics go, again, if you're not a podcaster or a YouTuber, it's not as important, but you do want to have your room be more pleasant to work in. You don't want loud and jangly. So foam panels, they don't really soundproof anything. They absorb mid and high frequencies, which reduces echo and flutter inside the room. So to block sound from entering requires mass, airtightness, and decoupling. So those are some technical terms. I mean, you can figure some of them out. But rugs are good. If you have wood floors, a nice rug down there will reduce, if you don't have to have wall-to-wall carpet, that really reduces it, but just throwing a rug down on the floor, an area rug. Curtains are very helpful. They're not perfect, of course. If you really need soundproofing, you need to, dense fiberglass and mineral wool broadband panels and all kinds of stuff like this. But again, if you need that sort of thing, you need it already. So don't worry about that. In general, a rug, a bookshelf with actual books, actually a bookshelf full of books is a great sound deadener. As anyone who sees me on video can attest behind me. I also have a futon with on there, so that it also absorbs sound in the office. Something soft on the wall behind you is good. Curtains or whatever will also absorb a lot of sound and reduce echo. And again, when you're on a video call, that really helps. And also it can help block exterior sounds from coming into your space. That can be an issue, especially if you live close to other people or in an apartment.
The one thing we did purposely for our office was not to put curtains in it, because it is a second bedroom. And it was the one thing we said, you know what? This should be a place where we actually work. If we make it too comfortable, then that's not to say we don't have an area rug or another chair here, but we didn't want to make it too comfortable, because you can make a place so comfortable that it becomes a distraction.
Right.
But the one thing we did, and I mentioned it earlier, was we have room darkening shades.
Right.
So when the shades are down, the room is dark. And that has been a good thing for us, especially in the wintertime, because I have two it's a big 2-window casing right next to me.
Yeah.
And it can get cold.
Yep.
So that's also been a help. So it depends on what the aesthetic you're going for. We were going for, this is a business place.
Right.
Our bedroom is 5 steps down the hall.
Yeah. I have blackout curtains for video purposes, but
I understand that.
Yeah. But I actually have 2 layers of curtains. I have lighter curtains inside of them if I want to let some light in, but diffuse it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about plants. Plants are great. I think plants can lend a sense of life to your space. Even artificial. I have an artificial plant I picked up at IKEA. That way I don't have to keep it alive.
We had a big artificial palm tree in here.
Yeah.
And finally got rid of it because it was just starting to shed. Oh, believe it or not.
And they can get dusty and stuff. You gotta keep them clean. But also I don't like the idea of having something that with water on my desk, like having to water a plant. So it's a nice fake plant there, but I might get a couple other plants for the office. They don't clean your air. That's a myth. You would need special kinds of in sealed chambers also. It's really because it makes it a livable human space. It makes it pleasant. So think about that. If you really want live plants, snake plants are really survivable. Like even if you have a black thumb, they do pretty well. Fans are great, not just because they keep the temperature down, but because it moves the air around. It really, you want to have some air circulation. I always find air circulation is really helpful for keeping me awake and blowing the carbon dioxide coming out of my face away from it, so I'm not breathing it back in.
But you do have to remember, if you're using audio, if you're recording audio, it can become a hum, or it can become a whoosh problem. Right.
If you have a ceiling fan, especially, you might want to turn that off when you're doing recordings. I have a desk fan, but I always point it away, so it's not pointed at the mic. Like I have it on right now, but I don't think anyone get it. And I went and actually got a specifically quiet adjustable fan, so it's like you can't hardly ever hear it. And a fan also allows you to keep things cooler without having to run the AC all the time, which is a benefit. Rugs, again, I mentioned they help with sound. They also help define your space, so especially if it's a double duty sort of space, where it's like a corner of your bedroom or something. So, rugs can be nice that way. Storage, the general rule that I hear is bins beat cabinets for a home office, because the failure mode is usually, I don't know where to put this, and an open bin accepts things a cabinet doesn't. A cabinet can be where things go to be forgotten. Whereas like a bin is like, and when I say for this is like a bin is for things that need to move as opposed to things that are permanent storage.
Right.
Yeah.
Having the armoire was interesting. When I came home from not having a regular 9 to 5, I started cleaning. Let me tell you, something like that can catch every single thing you haven't wanted to deal with for 10 years. Exactly. And then all of a sudden you have to deal with it.
That's like my closet of obsolete tech, which is off to my side here.
Yep.
I've started cleaning it out, and I'm continuing that process.
Good.
They say, filing cabinets are mostly a nostalgia purchase. You just scan everything. You do need to keep some things as paper. Like there's some things you can't just scan and toss. There are some things you should probably hold on to. That said, I needed some drawers. I mentioned this at the top of the show. So I went and bought the IKEA Alex drawer unit, which every, YouTuber has. And frankly, it was a bit of a revelation. It was awesome. I've got all my things in there organized. I don't have stuff like all over the desk anymore. I really like that. So it slides under the desk perfectly. So it's kind of out of the way. I really like that. As far as, I know we're running long, so I kind of want to run through some things. Again, monitors, let's talk about computer related stuff. You might want to get a monitor arm. Think about that. That gets, not only does it mean your monitor becomes adjustable to ergonomically for you, it means you can swing it around and work on it and plug things in and out easily, or clean your desk. And it also, you can, if you have 2 monitors, you can get a dual arm monitors mount. And now you've got, your 2 monitors on it. Father Andrew had a pick of the week for a dual monitor desk mount a few weeks ago, but even the Amazon Basics ones, Ergotron is the name brand, but Amazon Basics, from what I can tell, theirs are made by Ergotron and they're just cheaper. So something to keep in mind.
And some of these will allow you to go both landscape and portrait.
Yeah.
So one can go landscape, one can go portrait, and
that's my preferred.
Yes.
And like the dual monitor one I'm going to link is $44.
That's a good price.
It is not much at all. For cable management, there's a couple of things I want to mention. You can get cable clips that hold cables on your desk or to the side of your desk. I really like the Limicol 8-pack magnetic cord organizers. And so what they are is they're sticky on the back. They're metal, so they feel solid, and they open and close. So the little door opens and closes, and it has a magnetic closure. So when it closes, it holds it, and it's really nice. And I've got these on both sides of my desk, and they really work really well. I really like them. And you can get 8 of them for $12 and 12 of them for $13. And
I'm using the regular Post-it clip-on little clear ones that I put alongside my desk. You know, and they're cheap at half the price. They're the contact ones where you can move them at will.
Right. And what it does is it means you don't have cables laying all everywhere, getting tangled. It's a big thing. And they're always at the ready. They're always there, ready to be used. Now, you can sometimes have big bundles of cables running everywhere. You may find that cable management sleeves or something that might be useful to put them all together and keep them in one bundle. I have this on my desk, and I use this zip up one. It's the Joto, all capital letters, Joto. So, it's one of those brands. But it works. You get 4 of them. They're 20 inches long for $10. So you just kind of put all the cables in, and then you zip up around it like a long sleeve, and it hides all the mess and clutter. And they're not everywhere.
And if, don't forget those ties. And I'm not talking zip ties, the lovely Velcro ones. You can get the 100-pack on Amazon. I don't have a price offhand, but I bought a 100-pack, and I'd say maybe 5-6 years ago. I'm just starting to get low.
Yeah, the Velcro ties. Those are great.
Yep.
One thing I like is actually these are zip ties, but they have little tags on them that you can write on.
Okay.
And so you can label your cables. Sometimes, because every USB cable is like, this is USB with power, this is USB data only, this is a Thunderbolt cable. So I've started labeling my cables so that I know what they are when I want to use them. So those are great too. Now you want to organize your cables, do some cable management. I have a couple of recommendations. There's an under-desk cable management tray that clamps to your desk. Again, this is for desks that are thin enough that you can clamp things through to. And it's just like metal tray that you can put a power strip in, or power supplies or that sort of thing into it. And it comes in a couple different, you can get them in different lengths. The one I'll list here is 13.4 inches wide. I think you can get a 16-inch and a 25-inch ones. The 13-inch one is $18, so pretty reasonable price. Another one that I've seen online and I've got and works pretty well, it's the Univivi no drill under desk cable management tray. And this is a fabric tray. So again, another clamp. So you don't have to screw things in. I don't love screwing things into the bottom of my desk, but and so it kind of folds open and hangs. And so it's this fabric that sort of drape, and it has loops on the inside, and you can Velcro or tie power supplies or other things into this, and then you can lay out your cables all through it. And then when you don't need to use it, when you're done doing that, it kind of goes up and hooks on, and so you've got this kind of loop that it's almost like a bag. It's open on both ends that holds all that clutter out of sight and out of mind and up off the floor. So both of those are really nice. The Univivi is $40, so it's a little more, but this is pretty long. The one I got is 3 feet long. They have shorter ones and longer ones even than that. So something like that. There are all kinds of options for that sort of thing. Couple other things I just want to mention before we move on and wrap this up. if you've certain kinds of PCs, like whether it's a Mac Mini or Mac Studio or certain kinds of mini PCs for Windows, think about an under desk mount for it. I've got my Mac Studio screwed to the bottom and on the edge of my desk here, so it's off my desk, and it works because all of the ventilation for the Mac Studio is on the bottom, so it's actually better than sitting on the desk because it's unimpeded airflow. So that works. If you have a laptop, think about a laptop stand, especially if you're working from a laptop without an external monitor. Get a keyboard and a laptop stand. Raise up the laptop screen so it's in front of you and you're not your head bent down at it. That's really bad for you working like that for a long period of time.
Yeah, you can also get for Mac Minis, and not for Mac Studios, but for Mac Minis, you can get a holder that looks like a mini cheese grater.
I've seen that, the cheese grater Mac. Yeah.
Yes.
The Power Mac. Those look really cute.
Right.
I wonder if someone will make a bigger one for the studio. That would be fun.
That would be fun, but we unfortunately, again, are a two OS household. Mm-hmm. So I have the Mac Mini and he has his ThinkPad.
Right.
Lenovo ThinkPad. We have it on the desk. Right. But again, we have a big enough desk to do that. If you do, fine.
Now, one thing you'll see all the time is the dock.
The docks.
Especially if you have a laptop, but these are actually useful even if you don't. The one that every YouTuber shows is the CalDigit Thunderbolt 5 Plus. That's $500, and it's well worth that money if you've got it. Like 20 ports, Thunderbolt 5. This is the best dock out there. However, you don't necessarily need one. You could maybe get away with just a USB-C hub if you just need to connect a few peripherals to your computer, and you get those for $40. But if you need a docking station, their overall pick is the Anker 555 that has 8 ports. It's $50. You can get one for as little as 20. There's also a middle ground. The Anker Prime docking station it's a laptop docking station. It's 14 ports. It does dual monitors, dual 4K HDMI. It outputs 160 watts of power. And can even do 10 gigs of data transfer. So, like if you're hooking Ethernet or hard drives or whatnot to it, make sure it can get enough data transfer out of that. That's more. That one is $170, so not $500. So pretty reasonable.
And if you are a two-computer household, we each have a dock.
Yep.
And it got tricky, really, because even though the Vision Tech that we were using can plug into 2 computers, there were people in my household, not me, who would forget to replug it back into the other one's computer, right. And it was getting a bit much.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, the MacGyver here pulled one and had an old Hyper strip that I used to use with my
iPad.
With my MacBook Pro.
Okay.
And what I did was it is always connected to the Mac Mini, and it's running. I have 2 sets of since your back of most monitors will take both HDMI and
DVI several
and the
options,
DVI.
Yeah.
His dock has HDMI. My dock has DVI. Right. So when either one goes on, we're not messing with the others.
Right.
But that's a MacGyver move, and that's only for people who, have lots of equipment hanging around and you spent a lot of money. You don't know what to do with it after a while.
Right. So the big question to ask yourself when it comes to dock is, how many things do I have to unplug when I take my laptop away? Like if you have a desktop, that's a different question. But if you have a laptop, the answer, if your answer is power and a monitor, then you need a $40 hub will do that for you. If you're driving multiple 4K displays, wired Ethernet, external SSDs, an audio interface, the $500 dock starts to look more reasonable. So most people are probably somewhere in the middle. So just something to think about. A dock can make life a lot easier. And frankly, I still have a USB-A hub that sits on my desk. It's a 16 port. I use 4 of them now because everything has moved to USB-C. So it's not as big of a deal, but it is hubs are still important and still useful, and a dock might be the way to go. So that's a lot. We've spent a lot of time on this. If folks have other questions or suggestions for other things to consider with your home desk setup, we'd love to hear from you and let us know what you suggest or what you'd like to know more about. Joanne, did you have any other last thoughts on this one?
Oh, no. I mean, I think we've tried to cover everything. It's just what works for you. Right. What do you already have? What do you need to expand on?
Don't spend crazy money.
Unless you want to. Right? Yeah, if that's your thing, fine, but I try not to.
Yeah. Do what makes sense for you. You don't need to spend crazy money to get a very nice home office. So I want to move on to thank our patrons, by the way. We'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Technology, including Tim S., Christopher H., Kevin B., Lisa R., and Chris G. Their generous donations at GiveStarQuest.com make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Technology and all the shows at StarQuest, and you can join them by visiting GiveStarQuest.com. I'm going to skip right to our picks of the week, as we've gone very long. Joanne, what's your pick this week?
Well, when I'm away from my home office, I sometimes like to phone home. And this was my original setup when I said when I would retire, was that I would have a Mac Mini and I would use my iPad in order to do some heavier lifting from somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And I've achieved that, but I was having a tough time trying to find a screen connection because Splashtop doesn't really cut it anymore. And there were a couple of others, but I found one called Screens. Mm-hmm. And this one also works with the Vision Pro. So we can actually say we've mentioned something for Vision Pro on this podcast, which we never do. But it's a really simple setup and it's relatively inexpensive. And it's like $30 a year. But it allows me to be downstairs and actually see my computer, control it well with the iPad. And I was very fussy because sometimes you can't see the little cursor. And I wanted something where I could actually some of them wouldn't allow you to make the screen any bigger. Mm. So when you're trying, a 13-inch iPad's a good size, but still. So this one allows that. And if you're outside of your house, you need to go and get something called Tailscale. If you're not already using that app somewhere to help you connect to it. You can get that one for free because you'll never use everything on Tailscale unless you're a real advanced user. Right. But this allows you to control your computer from your phone, from your iPad, and even from your Vision Pro. And it works both on my MacBook Pro and on the Mac Mini. Mm-hmm.
So Tailscale could go on all your devices and cross-platform. And one of the things it does is it makes whatever your remote device is look like it's on your network. And it makes all of your network devices accessible from outside your network, but only to you because you're logged into your Tailscale Tailnet. Now, if you just need to do Mac to Mac, you can do screen sharing through Tailscale, just the built-in screen sharing. But if you want to control iPad to it or from iPhone, this screens. I've had screens in the past, and it works well. There's a couple of different apps out there that I've used. Jump Desktop is another one, but Screens is a good one. Screens, you put a controller app basically on your home computer, and that is what lets you connect remotely. It basically advertises it to your device out on the internet, so to speak. So Screens and Screens Connect, very good. So my pick this week is Pastebot 3 for Mac. Pastebot 3 is a very powerful clipboard manager. For one thing, it's well designed. It's very whimsical and fun looking, but it's got a lot of powerful features. Now, it's got the clipboard manager part, which is the basics you want to do when you copy things. It goes into the clipboard manager and it stays in there, for however many you want it to be. They'll stay in the clipboard manager, and you can access old clippings. I think mine has 400 clippings in it right now. But what really is the powerful thing is you can create custom paste bins, they're called, where you can store often used clippings. So, for instance, I have a lot of image artwork that I use all the time for the podcast, like the cover art and I store all those in there. I store some video files in there that I use. You can put GIFs. You can create specialized paste bins, even rule-based ones. So anytime there's a link in your pasting, it puts it in. You can have it like put it also in the special smart links paste bin. And then there are filter bins which allow you to do certain kinds of changes or conversions. So, for example, you can have it strip all formatting and convert straight quotes and dashes to the smart ones. You can convert to plain text, convert to smart punctuation, single line, uppercase, lowercase, all kinds of stuff like that. So you can, select things and put them in there. There are developer ones. There's web-based ones like stripping HTML or converting to Markdown or back and that sort of thing. So Pastebin is a really powerful clipboard manager. It's I think it was like 30. Yeah. So you can buy it direct for $40, or you can subscribe on the App Store for $25 a year. The App Store one ends up being more over time, I think. But if you only want to use it for a year or a month, you can do $3 a month and just to try it out with all the features. That also comes with family sharing support, and you can pay with your Apple account. Whereas the buying direct gives you, you've bought it. You're not subscribing to it. So that's the big difference. So you just decide how to do it.
Or maybe you can try it out with the Apple and then get
try
rid of the subscription and then buy it.
Yeah, it comes with a 14-day trial, but if you want more time, spend the $3 for a month after, and see if it really fits, and then you go buy it outright after that. So yeah, that'll be another option. All right, those are our picks of the week, and that's it from us this time. We would love to get your feedback on any of our discussion, which you can do by sending an email to technology@sqpn.com. Visit the StarQuest Discord community at sqpn.com/discord. You'll find links from our discussion and our picks of the week on our show notes at starquest.fm/TEC357. We'll have links to everything we've talked about in this episode there. And you can find previous episodes at sqpn.com/technology. Be sure to follow The Secrets of Tech. We're an Apple Podcast, Spotify, TuneIn, your favorite podcast app, or at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/StarQuestMedia, where you should like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notifications. And I promise I won't do a desk setup video there, but if I do, it won't have Slatwall. Be sure to write a review in Apple Podcasts or one of the podcast directories will let you do so. Share the podcast with someone. If you know someone who's looking to redo their office, this would be a nice one to share with them. Until next time, Joanne Mercier, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of technology.
Thanks, Dom.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Technology on StarQuest. Here's another show on the StarQuest Network you're sure to enjoy. The Secrets of Sacred Art. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at starquest.fm/art.